What's up, icons? It's the iconic fashion figure back with a new video. And you guys, I'm in LA right now, and of course while I'm here I had to show you guys the fashion district. I know a lot of you really want to go to the fashion district. You want to be able to go over there, buy wholesale, bring your product back with you, and see all the different vendors that are available to you, because there's a lot of them over there that are not online. I'm just gonna walk you guys through the fashion district so you can see what it's like. You'll be able to see some new vendors that I haven't given to you guys yet, so that way you can look them up and find a way to contact them. You'll also see a lot of vendors that I've already given to you, and then you just get a feel for what the fashion district is like, because I swear it's like heaven on earth. So I'm not going to do too much talking so you guys can actually see it, and then I'll recap at the end and answer some of the questions that I know you'll have, like the resale certificate and stuff like that. So let's get into this video.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now come on now.
We're now in the fashion district. So pretty much this video I'm just going to walk around so that way you guys can see what the fashion district looks like. You can pick up on some vendors that I haven't shared with you yet, some vendors that I have shared with you. I also want to show you all the different streets to go to. Just in case you're not familiar with the fashion district, you haven't been over there yet, you'll know what streets to hit, because the very first time it can be confusing over there, especially if you end up on the retail side. So all I'm gonna do is walk by, show you guys the vendors. I'll try to show you in some of the windows, but with the sun and the glare, it was kind of hard to see into some. And for those of you that have DM'd me in the past asking for specific vendors, you may have heard me say, you know, I actually know one for that, but I don't know the name of it. If I was in LA, I can show you exactly where to go to. That is because, as you can see, when you're walking right up next to, you're walking just along a walkway. So when you're walking past and you're looking in windows, you're not really looking up at the name at the top. So some of these you might see names in the window, some of them you may not get a name at all. I tried to look up so that way you guys can see some of the names, and then some of the footage you'll see in a moment. I'll show you from across the street, so that way you can actually see all the names, but then of course you can't see in the windows to see what they offer. So if you pick up on some names that you're unfamiliar with, just Google them, see if they have any online presence. A lot of them are just on like the marketplaces like LA Showroom, Fashion Go, Orange Shine. They may not have their own websites. Some of them aren't on there at all, so you won't find any online information for them. You might find like a phone number, and you'll have to just call them and see if they can send you line sheets so you can see their product. But right now, this is like the main part I really want to show you, because this is like the easiest spot to find. This is one of the more well-known areas of the wholesale district, which is the San Pedro Mart. So that part you just seen before this, that was like that back alley part of the San Pedro Mart. But where I'm going to right now is like the center of it all. So you guys are about to see a ton of different vendors. So I'm gonna walk through so you guys can see it from different angles, a bunch of different vendors. There's 2 levels to this. So there's vendors on the second level, there's vendors on the first level. In my recap in the end, one thing that I didn't mention, for those of you that don't have a resale certificate, because these all need a resale certificate. So if you don't have one, they used to do on Saturdays, where all of these vendors will have rolling racks outside Saturday morning, and you can go shop them without even having a resale certificate. And a lot of them sell individual pieces, so you don't have to buy packs. I think there was one vendor one time when I actually went on a Saturday morning that required me to buy the full 6-piece pack in order to buy the style that I wanted. But other than that, it's usually individual pieces. You'll pay wholesale price or sometimes cheaper because they just want to get rid of it, and you don't need a resale certificate. It's open to the public. Otherwise, this is not open to the public. You'll see in a lot of the windows, they have signs that say wholesale only. Now, I haven't lived in LA in several years, and this is my first time coming back in about 3 years. So I don't even know if they're actually still doing that on Saturdays. I know at one point they did stop just because apparently there were a lot of people out there that weren't authorized to sell, but they were out there with a bunch of product trying to sell. So they had stopped it for a minute, but then it came back. I'm almost sure they probably brought it back because a lot of vendors were making pretty good money on those Saturday mornings. But otherwise, at the end of this video, when I do the recap, I give you guys another option for those of you that don't have a resale certificate. But back to the video. At this point, I'm on the second level of the San Pedro Mart, so that way you guys can see it from a different angle. You'll see more options. Like, this place is actually pretty big, and this is only one portion of it. There's several streets, so this is basically considered San Pedro, the street that I'm on, but it's in between San Pedro and, I'm trying to think of, Crocker is on the other side. And then the street where those cars are driving past, that was actually San Pedro. But to the left, so where I'm angling at now, if you exit the San Pedro Mart, you'll be headed towards 12th, which is where I'm gonna go to next because there's a bunch of them out there. Like, I kid you guys not, this is like a maze. There's so many different alleyways that I didn't even go down that you guys won't even get to see because it was just too much to show in one video. I mean, I would have sat here forever just showing you guys the entire Wholesale district. Originally, I was going to speed this video up as well, so that way you guys didn't have to sit here and look at every little vendor. But for those of you that are actually using this to try to find new vendors so you can actually go research them, I didn't want to speed it up and then you keep missing all the vendor names. You have to keep rewinding and replaying. So I kept it at the pace that I'm literally walking through there. You guys are seeing actual footage of me walking through here, so that way you can pick up on names, look in windows if you can, and then research these vendors. Try to find a phone number, email, whatever you can. Now this is 12th, so I just left. That's the San Pedro Mart, left out of there. I'm now on 12th and I'm walking towards San Pedro Street, which once you cross the other side of San Pedro Street, that's mainly just the retail side of things. I didn't bother going that far down to show you because then it'll start getting confusing. All of it looks just alike, but that side is mostly retail. So now I'm headed back the opposite direction so that way I can show you Crocker and town. So this is still on 12th. I'm still walking down 12th so that way you guys can see more of the vendors. That's Crocker. That's actually where I originally started, so I'm not going to go back down that way because that's where I started at the beginning of the video. I'm going to continue down 12th so that way you guys can see more 12th Street, and then I'll turn downtown so that way you guys can see a little bit of town. Like, do you guys see how many vendors are out here? This is exactly why I said give yourself a couple days, but you haven't even seen that part of the video, but definitely give yourself a couple days because as you're going in and out of these vendors, before you know it, the day is over, and they close around like 5 or 6 because once like 5 or 6 o'clock hits, you want to get out of downtown. To be honest with you, I wouldn't still be over there shopping. But most of them will close around like 5 or 6 o'clock, and then you'll have to come back the next day or, you know, the following business day. But here we are at the corner of 12th and Town. If you actually keep going down 12th, there's more vendors down there, but I just wanted to show you a bit of town. It's pretty much looking like the other streets, just a bunch of different vendors. There's multiple levels, but these are some more options of vendors so that way you guys can see it going down 12th or going downtown. So basically that is the fashion district. That is the wholesale side. Those of you that don't have a seller's permit and you still want to shop the fashion district, there is a retail side of it where you can just buy without a seller's permit. The pricing most likely will be a little higher, but you can actually find some stuff that is cheap enough that you can buy it and still resell it. However, on the wholesale side, you have to have a resale certificate. Like some of those vendors, they have boxes in front of their doors. They have like rolling racks with signs and everything in front of their doors because they will not let you in unless you can show them that resale certificate first. And some ask for invoices too. So if you are traveling to the fashion district to buy wholesale, make sure you bring invoices with you, bring your resale certificate. I would bring all of your business documentation just in case you're unsure of which one they actually need. You'll have all of them so you can make sure you don't come here and waste a whole trip. If you do come here to shop the fashion district, make sure to give yourself a couple days because there are a ton of streets. The main streets you'll want to hit are like San Pedro, Crocker, Town, then you have 12th, you have 11th, you have 10th, and then in between all of those streets there are a bunch of different alleys, which I never even paid attention if those alleys even have names or not. But basically start out at the San Pedro Mart, which is the place that I showed you mainly, and it's like the green building. You start out there and you just walk around, and I kid you not, it's like a maze and you can walk over there for hours. Like you'll notice some of my videos like in the fashion district are kind of shaky because I got tired of walking, so I got on one of those scooters and I was hungry, so I was trying to hurry up and do it. But you can walk there for hours, different shops, you'll go in and out. Like trust me, you'll get tired, especially if you're actually going into these vendors, signing up and shopping. Whereas me, I was just walking around recording for you guys. I was over there for an hour just recording. I got tired and I did not hit every street. You guys did not see everything over there, and I didn't record the retail side at all because it's usually packed over there. Which gets to my next point as far as this pandemic. Are these vendors open? Are you able to shop? Yes, you're able to shop now. There's a lot of them that are open. There was actually quite a few people over there. I went on a Tuesday, so I wasn't expecting there to be as many people as there were, but there were actually a lot of people over there. There were some vendors that were still closed. Like you guys probably will see in some of the footage, a lot of the vendors had their gates down, they're still closed. Some had signs up where it was like by appointment only, so you couldn't just walk in there. You had to call and make an appointment. And then I showed you guys some of the signage too as far as the requirements as far as the pandemic. But they are open. You can shop over there. You won't get the 100% experience just because some of those vendors are closed, but there's so many of them open over there that trust me, if you spend a couple days over there, you'll find plenty. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to recap about it. All I can say is the fashion district is truly like heaven on earth to me. For anyone that's in the fashion industry, you have to go at least once. And do not forget your resale certificate because you will need it. Please don't think you're gonna go over there and walk in these stores and shop. Trust me, when I used to live in LA and I first shopped over there, I walked into one of those places and that lady ran up to the door and was like, no, wholesale only. And I'm like, I got a seller's permit, like calm down. Like, so if they don't recognize you or know you as a business owner, you gotta walk in there with that seller's permit ready to show them. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you find some new vendors in here that I haven't shared with you yet. I'll be doing a new vendor list pretty soon and it'll be mostly on women's clothing. Thank you for watching.